Hey, welcome back to Drumcast TV for November 8th, 2012. My name's Darren Mathis. Today we're going to be talking about playing double bass drum faster and longer. So let's get to the question of the day from Mooey.
Hey Darren, my name is Mooey. I am 14 years old, calling from Lowell, Maryland. I've been playing drums for about 2.5 or like 3 years, and I'm pretty consistent on my double bass, but I was worrying about the steadiness and how long and fast you can go. I play metal/heavy metal.
Hey Mooey, thanks for that question. Let me first talk about how I got into it and some of the things that have helped me over the years. When I first started, or when I first got double kick drum or double kick drum pedal, I had only played single bass drum, so I was used to playing a heels up style on the kick drum, and then I would play usually heels up on the hi-hat too. But when I got the double kick drum pedal, for some reason, well, if you played with the double kick drum, you'll notice the action on your left foot is almost completely different between a hi-hat pedal and a kick drum pedal. So what I started doing was playing with my heels down. And that was just easier for me because I could control it. I tried playing with heels up, but I was so used to leaning on that hi-hat on the left side that when I tried heels up on both kick drum pedals, I just didn't have a good center of balance. I just felt wobbly, so I figured I'd start with my heels down, or play with my heels down, see how I could develop that, how fast I could go and for how long. It ended up that if I go heels down on on the double kick drum, I was able to have a good amount of control and consistency, but I just wasn't able to play for very long without my legs just starting to burn, like the calves, lower parts of my legs around the ankles and calves were really starting to burn. I just wasn't able to play for very long. So I experimented and tried to switch over to playing heels up, and I found I was able to play louder and longer, but it took longer to develop a sense of balance, because once you raise up your heels, you're more reliant on the leg, or the muscles on the top of your legs to bring your legs up. You're also more reliant on balancing on your throne, because you're not leaning on that left leg for the hi-hat anymore. You kind of lose that. So, and it also engages your stomach muscles too, and just puts more of your weight on the throne and less on your feet, because you're going to want to have that steady base on your throne, and then your legs will be able to go up and down a little bit easier. So when I started, I would just start with exercises where I go really slow like this. And I almost have to lean back to a certain point where I can get my the ability for my feet to play that, because if I lean too far forward, I'm just pushing the heads of the beaters into the kick drum head. So I didn't want to do that. I want to be able to hit the head and have that beater come off of the head. So in order to do that, I have to lean back a little bit. So right there, I'm feeling a lot of the muscles working on the tops of my legs, also my stomach muscles, back muscles. Whereas if I play heels down, none of that practically is engaged as much as it was before. And most of the muscles that are working are the shin, calf area, lower area by the ankles, those muscles. And I think you could probably, and many people have, practice just heels down and develop really good speed, consistency, strength, endurance. You probably play a whole song with your heels down. But for me, it was just easier to start playing heels up, and I think that is the way most double bass drum players, especially that play consistently in metal bands where you might be playing double kick for most, if not all, the song, play these days, is heels up. It'll help if you can find some sort of practice pad, or if you're able to play in a room or a house by yourself, that's good, because practicing double bass drum is even more annoying to other people than most other forms of practicing the drums I've found. And so if you can find a practice pad, or just stuff your bass drum full of pillows, blankets, whatever you can do to get it quiet enough to practice. Or if you have an electronic kit, that is excellent too. Or if you can even borrow the pad from an electronic kit, a kick pad, and just practice on that. Don't even plug it in. But just, it's just going to take time to develop those muscles. Do a little bit at a time. You can also practice rudiments. Practice, you know, if you have a snare drum book, just practice that snare drum music on your kick drum. I have to admit, most of the time I spend just trying to develop consistency, just doing a single stroke roll. And by that I just mean right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, alternating single strokes on the kick drum, and just try and get that consistent and autopilot so I can do other things on the top of it. So it's just going to take practice to build up that endurance to be able to play a whole 3, 4, 5 minute song. Don't expect it to happen right away. Break it up into little chunks too if you can't consistently go. Break it up into smaller chunks like. Even those small rests between the consistent or the constant right, left will allow your muscles to regroup, and the lactic acid will desist a little bit so you can keep going. So also experiment with the height of your throne. Mine, I've got about the same, I've got a 22-inch bass drum. I've got the top of the throne about the same height as that, but just gonna experiment with the angle of your knee. So right now, it's about a 90-degree angle, maybe a little bit wider. My thigh is going up, maybe just a little bit, slight angle. I also found, I think it works better for me to wear shoes. Some people will wear shoes, some won't. It's just a little bit extra weight on the pedals. Some pedals have actual weights that you can add to the pedal board to replicate that extra weight. But just try different things. You know, tighten up the springs on your kick drum pedal, loosen them, see which is easier for you. I know people that just torque those springs down and love to play like that. For me, I get them about as loose as they'll go. It's just a matter of preference and what you get used to. As far as speeding up, I like to break things into little chunks, especially if I'm doing right, left, alternating. It can just get totally out of control, misaligned with everything else I'm playing. So one thing I like to do is just put little breaks between the 16th notes to just try and realign, because I can hear even when my muscles don't cooperate and the double kick drum starts to get a little bit off. So I'll give you an example of that, putting little breaks in between the 16th notes. So if I want to go faster, I'm going to try and make sure my right foot, there I'm playing right, left on the kick drum. I'm trying to align my right hand with my right foot to keep them somewhat steady and aligned and consistent. Also, one thing you can do is just break up the monotony of playing, you know, right, left, with some sort of more musical pattern on the kick drum, like that'll both make it sound more interesting, more fun, and also put those rests in there I was talking about earlier. Nothing's going to help you speed up as much as just putting time into practicing. Once you get to the point where it starts to sound sloppy, just back it off a little bit in the speed. Go back to where you were comfortable with. After you do, if you're like me, after you do this for a few minutes, even now talking to you, tops of my legs are starting to burn because they're just out of shape. But I realize if I put more time into this and more consistent, if I do it every day, it's going to be a lot easier for me to play. It's going to sound more consistent, more under control. Well, thanks again for tuning in to Drumcast TV. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion, I invite you to go to drumcast.tv and click the contact button. There's a voicemail message hotline where you can leave a voicemail. You can re-record it. You push pound as many times as you want until you get just the way you want, and then I'll get that message. I can reply to it on the podcast, or you can go to youtube.com/drumcasttv and leave a video reply there as well. Until next time, keep practicing, and God bless.
Drumcast TV is sponsored by Amazing Slowdowner from Ronnie Music. I've been using Amazing Slowdowner for years to slow down and figure out drum fills and guitar licks, but that's not all it does. It transposes, changes pitch, and creates loops using MP3 files, AAC, and many other music formats. It even works on CDs. I use Amazing Slowdowner for transposing songs so they're easier to sing and I don't have to change guitar tunings. I can even save them as new files and send them to bandmates. Amazing Slowdowner for Windows or Mac. Try it for free at drumcast.tv/ASD.